Welcome back to Railroads Online. I haven't played for a few weeks, so thought I'd have a go at another crack at doing some track laying. The intention today is to put a little branch line to the east of the sawmill, which will eventually head up to the smelter and the iron ore mine. And I'm also going to be putting a little extension on the end of this track down here so I can fit a couple of extra cars in the loading bay for the logging camp. Up here, once I've put this little branch line in, I'll be putting in a firewood depot and a water tower so we can service the trains. So all that's left to do here is cut all of the trees down so I can see what I'm doing, and then we'll see you in game. Well, that took about an hour and a quarter, because as soon as I started to load the game there was a 4GB update to download. So here we are. The first thing I want to do is check how long these cars are so that I can know how far to extend the track. So I'm just going to go into the little track construction thing to do that. It won't take me long. How do you... I haven't played this for too long. How do you... There we go, that one. Align this bit of track. And that is not telling me how long it is. Why is that? That's why. Right, so it looks like these cars are about 6.5 meters long, and I need to extend this piece by almost exactly that amount. So let's go do that. So I'm just going to delete this little end. Come on, don't do this to me. I've literally been playing for 4 minutes and already I can't delete the groundwork. There we go. So if I add, say, 7 meters of track, so local mode, radius 0, incline 0, and we're going to add 7.5 meters. Then I want to do the same with groundwork, but groundwork's always a pain. So let's see what happens. Right. Yeah. Oh, I can do it on a wall, can't I? That would be better. Let's start this again. I know what I'm doing. Get rid of that bit of track. Track construction. Wall 1 with rails. Send this out 7 meters. Ready. And then we'll go track construction. Wall run. Ballast. It will actually lock on. So I can send that out another, I think it's about 6.5 meters we need for the thing. So we can adjust it if we need to. Track construction. Bumper. Oh, we need another like 20 centimeters on that. That's all right. So 7.5 meters we're going to go with wall 1 with ballast. All they need to do, right, is add the ballast options to all of the track types, and then we won't have any of this messing about. There we go, that's so much better. That's a little bit longer now, so we should be able to fit that extra log car. If you saw the end of episode 2, you'll have seen that, or about the middle of it, there was only room for 9 of our cars here, and we've got 10. So that will fit now. Alright. Having just downloaded the new update, I've discovered that there are a whole bunch of new cars anyway. So this is a little, if you see here, this is a thing that has been irritating me ever since I started playing the game, in that the cars are not at the same level as Betsy's hitch. And they've just introduced a whole bunch of new cars, and they're called the sugarcane flat cars, and I think the hitch is at the right height. If we just have a look at them, so there's a whole range of these Greg sugarcane cars, And I think if we move on to, yeah, see the height of this one, you go back to the height of that one, the hitches I believe are lower on the new one. So if we want to carry on using the Porter, we can get all new cars that all match, that are all quite small. However, what I want to do, once we've finished all this track laying, is upgrade our locomotive. And the next one I want is this one here, the little shay. I like this chain, or this locomotive. The geared locos, they've got like the pistons go up and down in the middle and drive through a drive shaft to the two trucks on either end. And these are good because, for a start, because they're geared, they get a lot more track. They get a lot more. They can pull a much heavier load, which is helpful. But what I really like about them is these things can pivot slightly, so you end up with a locomotive that can handle a much tighter curve on a track, which, when we're going up and down in the mountains, is very helpful. So I quite favour this engine. So we've currently not got enough money for it, so we'll save up for that once we've made our firewood track. So that's what we'll do now. I'm going to go and chop up some track and lay a new line east. This is the run up to the sawmill from the freight yard, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut a branch off to the right here to curve around the mountain, and that heads off east to the smelter. And then in the centre of this Y here, we're going to cut another branch going that way. So don't know how well it's going to work. I think ideally I would rather have the track came off this corner over here to head off east, but it's been such a nightmare to get these curves smooth in the first place that I don't want to introduce another like switch or corner on here and then mess it all up again. So what I'm going to try and stick to now is cutting these things off of already straight track, and I think it will save me a bit of hassle. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this straight here, so we'll cut it here and then we'll loop it round to the left, and that'll be we'll be able to have a Y that heads off to the sawmill then, or not the sawmill behind me, the smelter. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to attempt to record this in a time lapse that won't make anyone vomit when they try to watch it. Here we go. I think this curve has gone slightly further than I want to, because if you look at the map in the top left, it's not heading dead east at the end, so I've drawn that in for slightly too far. Now, looking at the map, my little blue pin appears to be pointing left now, so let's try that. That's pretty much there. That'll do. So this track is getting quite a ways off the ground. I might have to do a little bit of an incline at some point. Okay, let's go over here and see if we can cut the track and bring it round from this angle. I think I've put this in not exactly the place I want to have it. So So I'm going to run it parallel for here for a while. And I've discovered a new thing that I hadn't seen before. There is a linking, you can select the linking point of your track. So I think it's that one. Is it that one? No, it's not that one. If I link it from here, I think it will then, yeah, it will then give me a bit of track that's dead parallel. So what I should be able to do is come forward off of here a little bit with some regular track. I'll just put a couple of meters in. And if I now delete this, I should be able to let it auto connect this bit of track up to the switch. It should be relatively smooth. Yeah, so I've managed to put a switch that then comes into a little bit of parallel track, which I quite like. So let's see if we can't get this connected up to the other side of that. Now if I'd realised, or if that select link point thing had been a thing while I was trying to lay track the other day, I think I would have had a much easier time building this railway. Let's see how this goes. Goodness, that is a very wonky looking piece of track. I don't like that at all. So what do we think? Is this tolerable? Swings round to the right and then flattens out a little bit and then tightens up again. It's a little bit tight here. I think that's okay. Looks reasonable to me. What I want to do now is I want to put in a few sidings because there's quite a nice amount of space over to the right here where we can put in say a few sidings so that we've got some space to put in some firewood and some water and maybe some storage for locomotives. Let's get on with that. I feel like this track here is too far up off of the ground, so what I think I'm going to do is dig this bit up and then make a little bit of a downward incline. But I do still want the siding off there to the left, and we're going to run out of space for it. So I might pull the siding off of this middle section instead, so that we get to run down and incline a little bit first. I think I'll do that. How are they not the same height? How is that not the same height? That doesn't make any sense. There's something wrong with this game. This here, this is all level track. I think, or maybe it's not. Maybe this track runs up. Okay, it didn't look like it before. Like, I've got 50 meters of track with a minus 1.5% grade here, and 50 meters of track with a minus 1.5% grade here. And when I go and produce a straight bit of track, they're not at the same height at the end, which doesn't make any sense at all. Never mind. That's bonkers. In order to get this little piece of track kind of almost levelish, I've had to drop it down over here a little bit, which meant I then had to delete and relay this entire curve so that it drops off a bit down here as well. So that's all done. I should now be able to get this back down to being almost level, and then we'll be able to start putting the other buildings on for the siding. It's good enough. Is that a level? Was that a level bit? Was that actually a level bit, or was that? I think that was a level bit. I hope that was a level bit. Okay. So I'm going to put in another one of these little bridge pieces that's got the little fancy bit next to it, because I think that will be good for the loading, so I know where to put the loading bay for the firewood depot. That's going to get in the way, isn't it? Oh dear. No, it might be alright. Let's see how that looks. Right, the fence is... I have to get rid of the fence. Try an old style bridge. I've had to cut a big chunk of that out because, frankly, building in this game is a little bit difficult and has lots of deletion and recreation. So what I've done, I've got a little bit of track down here, I've got a little line that runs down here so you can drop some cordwood off at the firewood thing. I've got a bit of track that comes down here with a little bit of bridge in it, which I build on these loading bays so I know where to stop. So you can pick up your firewood here. I'm going to see if I can drop a water tower in here without everything just going completely haywire. Yeah, that looks okay. I don't know how close to the track these things are supposed to be, but I'll see if I can put it a little bit closer to the firewood. Let's pop that there. It's really hard to tell when it's pointing straight. I mean, that might work. Who knows? Let's try and... yeah, I mean, that looks like it ought to work. To come down from there and fill up a logo, but if not, we'll move it. And I don't quite know what you're supposed to do with a sand house, but I'll have a little look at that as well. And pop that on there. Yeah, there's room behind it, that's good. So, this should be our little lay-by sorted. We've made a new Y. We've got a firewood loading dock. We've got some water and some sand, and we are ready to carry on to the east to find our way to the smelter down this way. So that'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching.